How's it going, everybody? Too Spooky here. A while back I made a video about both the original Super Smash Bros. And then a video about Melee. In the Melee video, I promised I'd make a video about Brawl once that video hit 500 likes, which it did hit quite a while ago and I've just been kinda putting it off. But with the new Smash Ultimate just a week away from release, I figured what better time than to make this video happen now. So in today's video, we're going to be counting down 5 facts about Super Smash Bros. Brawl. This video was suggested by these lovely people right here, so thank you all so much for that suggestion, and let's just get started, shall we? Number 1. To begin with how the game began development in the first place, it all began with an announcement at E3 in 2005, where the now former Nintendo president Satoru Iwata announced that a new Smash Bros. Game was going to begin development for the new Wii console, and it would feature online play. Masahiro Sakurai, who was the director of the previous Smash titles, had not been approached about a new Smash Bros. At that point, and he was a bit worried and concerned about a new director taking over the series that he worked so hard on thus far, because even though Sakurai left HAL Laboratory 2 years prior, Iwata mentioned to him that if they wanted to make a new Smash Bros. Game, that he wanted Sakurai to be the director once again. But because Sakurai was not consulted before this announcement at E3, he was worried a new director may have been chosen. Iwata then had a private meeting with Sakurai shortly after this announcement, asking him if he would like to direct the new game. And if Sakurai refused, instead of having someone take over his work like he was worrying about, they were instead just going to release a Wii port of Melee, but with online play as the only new feature. Sakurai then agreed, and the development for Smash Bros. Brawl officially began in October of 2005. The development for the game itself was a little crazy, in the fact that Sakurai being a freelancer meant he had to come up with a team of developers as he didn't have access to one at the time. So while he had Game Arts as the main development team, he also had help from individuals who worked on previous Smash games, along with help from other development studios like Monolith Soft and Payon. Sakurai also made sure to put his all into this game in terms of overall quality, this time also introducing a story mode to tie it all together, which was called the Subspace Emissary, along with an even greater character roster. Because of statements from Sakurai about him putting his all into this game, as if it were the last, many fans took this as proof that Brawl was in fact the final Smash title, which for a while seemed to actually be true. However, as we are now aware, it wasn't, because we had Smash 4 a few years back, and now we're getting Smash Ultimate in about a week from the release date of this video. So the Smash hype still lives on. But will Ultimate be the final game in the series? I guess we'll just have to wait and see, but let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Number 2. As far as Sonic the Hedgehog being included in the roster goes, he was sort of a last-minute addition. Back in the video I made about Melee, I spoke about how Sonic was originally going to be in Melee, which is true. However, he wasn't able to make it in time due to time constraints. And the same thing almost happened with Brawl. Apparently this time around, Sonic was planned to be in the game from the very beginning, but Sega decided to decline the offer midway through production, before deciding at the last minute that they actually wanted Sonic to be in the game. Because of this late introduction of Sonic, Brawl had to be delayed its initial release date so that they could add Sonic without any issues. In addition to that, this is why Sonic appears so late during the Subspace Emissary, and is basically only playable for the final boss. Number 3. I'm sure pretty much all of you are aware that there are many different trophies you can unlock through completing various challenges. But what you may not have known is that there's one trophy that's rather tedious to get, in the fact that it takes 100 hours to complete. This also has to be done in active battles, so you can't just leave your console on at night while you sleep for a couple days. As far as what the reward is for actually wasting 100 hours of your life, you are given the Ashley Robbins trophy from Another Code 2 Memories, which is a rather unknown DS title. So unless you just love to go for that completionist playstyle, you might want to avoid that one. Number 4. Many of you have probably heard about the world record-holding Brawl fanfiction, but if you haven't, There's a Brawl fanfiction called The Subspace Emissaries World Conquest, which is considered the single largest individual work of English literature, period, having over 4,102,000 words in total. However, if you were already familiar with that fanfiction's existence and how infamous it actually was, the thing that you may not have known is that a different fanfiction has actually taken that record of the single largest work of English literature, and the new record-holding fanfiction is called Ambience, A Fleet Symphony, having over 4,500,000 words as of making this video. Now the moment that you've all been waiting for, but not for very long, number 5. For the final fact, let's talk about the various characters that were either considered for the game, or were supposed to be in the game but were cut for various reasons. The first character, or characters, that were considered would be the ability to use Mii's, which, as we know, was later added to Smash 4. Sakudai decided against the Mii's for 2 reasons. Firstly, because he felt it would result in various forms of online bullying, since Brawl was the first game in the series to offer online play. While the second reason was because he couldn't wrap his head around the idea of Mii's fighting people at the time. The second character considered was Pac-Man, who was suggested to Sakudai by Miyamoto, who, as you might know, is the creator of Mario. However, Pac-Man was also rejected because Sakudai thought that his pizza design was too far-fetched. Personally, I feel this reasoning is pretty dumb, considering Mr. Game & Watch is in the game, and he's also a ridiculously modeled 2D character. So I would be more willing to bet that they just had trouble deciding on Pac-Man's moveset, and decided to save him for a later date, as he was also included in Smash 4. The third character considered was a villager from Animal Crossing. However, they decided against it because Sakudai felt they weren't suited for battle. But like the previous 2, villager was also added to Smash 4. The fourth character considered was Geno from Super Mario RPG. This character in particular Sakudai was planning on adding, as he knew that the character was pretty popular among fans, and he himself thought that the character would fit well within the game's universe. But in the end, it just wasn't possible due to the fact that Square Enix co-owns the rights to the character, and more than likely they weren't able to reach an agreement in time for the game. Geno was later added in Smash 4 as a DLC Mii fighter skin.
Oh, come on, man.
So Geno has yet to appear as a playable character in any of the Smash games thus far. And based on the characters released for Smash Ultimate thus far, it looks like Geno is getting shafted yet again. Just like Waluigi. The fifth character considered was Crystal from the Star Fox series. However, she was rejected due to the fact she was introduced in a trash game. In reality though, the idea of including Crystal was scrapped due to concerns with time and her moveset, as Crystal's moveset would need to be based off of Fox and Falco, but due to Crystal being a tad bit different than those two, they felt they wouldn't be able to tweak the moveset effectively, so instead of Crystal, we were given Wolf. The final character that was considered was Blastoise instead of Squirtle for the Pokemon trainer. The reason Squirtle was decided upon instead was because Sakudai felt Squirtle would work better as a character, and since he already decided on Ivysaur and Charizard, he felt adding Squirtle instead would better represent the evolution of Pokemon, as Squirtle, Ivysaur, and Charizard represent all 3 stages of a Pokemon's evolution. It's also been rumored that the Nintendog was considered for a playable character, however, I couldn't find any credible evidence to support this, so take it as you will. Now, when it comes to characters who were supposed to be in the game but were cut last minute, there are a total of 7 characters we know of due to data mines and just comments from Sakudai in general. The one character who was confirmed by Sakudai himself was Dixie Kong, who was going to be a tag team duo with Diddy Kong, similar to how they operated in Donkey Kong Country 2. However, the reason she was cut was simply due to technical issues involving the tagging out feature, and because they couldn't make it work the way they wanted it to, we ended up with just Diddy Kong as a solo character. The remaining 6 characters were all discovered through data mining, the first of which was Mewtwo, who previously appeared in Melee. Mewtwo also had the most data found compared to the rest, making it appear as though Mewtwo was cut last minute for basically no reason. Mewtwo would then later appear in Smash 4 as a DLC character. The next data mined character was Dr. Mario, who unfortunately didn't have a lot of data evidence, so it's assumed by most that he was cut rather early into development. Especially considering he's just a reskin of Mario in general, it's not that big of a loss. Like Mewtwo, Dr. Mario also reappeared in Smash 4, although he was not a DLC character. Next up was Roy, who also previously appeared in Melee. The amount of data to suggest his inclusion was in between both Mewtwo and Dr. Mario, but ultimately it appears as though he was also cut rather early in his development. Also, like the previous two, Roy appeared once again in Smash 4, although he was also a DLC character. After this, we have Toon Zelda and Toon Sheik, which count as two different characters, who likely would have operated just like the regular Sheik and Zelda duo. Not too much data was available for this duo, so it's assumed that they were both added and cut at the very last minute. We can draw this conclusion mainly because we know that Toon Link was added pretty late in development, which is why he didn't appear within the main story mode and instead was unlocked through a side door after completing it, with the other unlock conditions of course. So with that in mind, it's assumed that Toon Zelda and Sheik were also meant to be added late in development, but were scrapped for whatever reason. The final cut character found within the code would be what many people assume to be a Pokemon duo of Plusle and Minun. This Plusle-Minun duo also had a very limited amount of data, and was assumed to have been cut pretty early into their development, but they likely would have played similar to the Ice Climbers, where you are playing two characters at the same time. But there you have it everybody, 5 facts about Super Smash Bros. Brawl. Hopefully you enjoyed the video and hopefully you learned something new. If you did, make sure to drop a like. In addition to that, once this video hits 1,500 likes, I will be adding a video about Smash 4 to my to-do list. So if you want to see a video about Smash 4 in the future, do not forget to smash that like button. Also be sure to subscribe so you don't miss that video when it drops, and be sure to follow me on Twitter for updates on the channel. I've also got some limited time merch available from now until January 1st, so if you want to be spooky and festive this holiday season, be sure to snag one before it's too late. You can find those links in the description. Now that the video is over, if you cannot get enough too spooky content, well be sure to click here for the previous video about Melee, or click here for 101 facts about the SoulCalibur series. Thanks for watching, see you all soon with a new video.